Hey everybody, this is Since Day One Radio where we play the greatest music and read the greatest stories. 92.1, don't forget it. Today I'm going to read a story that I wrote called Anthony. For the children, it's fictional. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Once upon a time there was a beautiful house made of pure gold that even had diamond doorknobs on each door. Even the grass that grew from the magical front lawn was golden. There are crystal trees that grow all over the golden lawn. Magical fairies live in the crystal trees. Unicorns run around the lawn, protecting the golden house. I know the golden place sounds amazing, but sadly, the house I just described wasn't mine at first. After I was exiled, I used to live in a little old wooden house I called a home that was always falling apart. Well, anyways, my name is Anthony, and I used to be a great knight that the whole kingdom respected. The king himself even considered me to be his right-hand man, but I was exiled from the kingdom for falling in love with the beautiful Princess Amanda. The king was so protective of his daughter that he placed a law that if anyone were to fall in love with his daughter would be exiled. Ever since that day, I've been living with my best friend Angel. He's literally a talking camel, but that's fine. That's fine with me. I don't discriminate against any magical creatures. Remember the beautiful house I described? Well, the king didn't just hand me the awesome place. The golden house wasn't just out in the open for everyone to see either. It was in a huge cave made of precious black diamond, and a monster named Mean Machine lived in the cave blocking the golden house and scaring people away. The king had announced one day that if any warrior could defeat or make Mean Machine leave his kingdom, the golden house and his beautiful daughter Amanda would be their reward. Mean Machine was scaring so many people away that there was hardly anyone left in the kingdom. The king was so desperate because he wanted Mean Machine to be gone of it from his kingdom that he was willing to offer the princess as a reward without her approval. Once I heard the news, Angel and I started traveling to defeat the monster and went back to live my life, legally this time. I was very excited because defeating Mean Machine would allow Amanda and me to be together without the king exiling me again. Angel and I walked 5 days straight without any rest through the dark woods and the great mountains just to get to the kingdom. We still had to travel through the forest to get to the Black Diamond Cave. Throughout the 5 day journey, Angel wouldn't stop spitting or complaining that he was tired. It didn't bother me too much because I was focused on winning back the princess and because magical camels tend to always do these sorts of things. Angel and I were halfway through the forest and everything was going great. Well, at least I thought it was. Then out of nowhere, a huge hideous cyclops popped out from behind a tree and told us to leave the forest or it would kill us and eat our heads. I obviously said no and kept moving forward, even though it was a pretty intimidating creature. The cyclops was about 9 feet tall and had a huge hairy stomach. The only clothes it had on were some brown torn up pants. I almost forgot to mention that the 9 foot tall cyclops was pink. That is very odd, if you ask me. As soon as Angel and I took a couple of steps, the cyclops started charging at us. Angel immediately spit directly into its eye and started yelling and cussing. And it started yelling and cussing, but was still running after us. To stop it, I kicked his ugly knees and as hard as I could and tripped it right on its pink ugly face. Right when it fell to the ground, I took out my shiny white gold sword as quickly as I could and I chopped the crazy cyclops' head off. Blue blood was gushing out of his head like a volcano. I didn't want to kill the pink hideous cyclops, but I didn't have a choice since it was trying to kill me and my best friend. After I cleaned my sword on its torn up pants, Angel and I kept walking toward our destination. After traveling for a very long time, Angel and I finally made it to the Black Diamond Cave. I didn't waste any time. Once I stepped into the cave, I pulled out my sword and started searching for Mean Machine. I actually found him pretty quick because Mean Machine was so huge. I had never seen Mean Machine before, so I saw him. So so when I saw him, I thought he looked harmless because he was just a huge, great, fluffy elephant. After I had analyzed Mean Machine for a couple of seconds, I quickly jumped into the air and swung my sword at the monster. Unfortunately, I missed and Mean Machine hit me with his trunk. I fell straight on my back. Then Mean Machine immediately wrapped his fluffy trunk around my neck and lifted me high against the ceiling. As I was being choked to death, Angel screamed, "Stop!" at the top of his lungs to catch Mean Machine's attention. Once he had the monster's attention, Angel asked politely if Mean Machine could leave the kingdom so that I could be rewarded the love of my life by the king. Surprisingly, Mean Machine put me down and told us if we had asked from the start, he would have gladly left without choking me because he had been planning on leaving anyways because the terrified people were annoying him. When Mean Machine finished talking, I thanked and hugged him tight. Mean Machine just tapped me on the back and left the kingdom. Just like that. Angel and I were extremely happy because that meant that I could finally be with Amanda and all three of us would live in the golden house. Once Angel and I were done celebrating, I went directly to see the king so I could claim my rewards. When the king stepped out of his castle, she shook my hand and handed me the beautiful Princess Amanda. The princess had no problem being handed over to me because she loved me as well. We immediately started kissing, and once the kissing was over, we ran to our golden house where Angel was waiting for us. Then we lived happily ever after in our golden house. Well, that concludes the story. Hopefully, you guys all enjoy it, and will tune in on the radio 92.1. You people know it. Ranked #1 in the world. See you next time, crowd. We love you.